One mini world, one creation dream.
So guys, welcome back. Welcome to the class number 3. As always, I'm very happy to just show you the next steps. Very important, guys, for this class we are going to do a quick recap because I just want you to remind what we made the last class because it's going to be very important. We are going to create the basic objects and we are going to create the meteor shower. Now we are going to start with the basic objects, okay guys? So for creating the lobby, we are going to create any kind of a structure. In my case, I don't want to be like too much invasive with the scenario, so that's why I create the lobby with this. Let me show you in real game. With these blocks that are going to be invisible in game, but you can create the lobby in any art style that you want it, okay? The only important thing, guys, for this map, we are not going to create the lobby in the different areas like this one or around the map. What I need you to do is to create the lobby over the map, okay? And why we are going to create the lobby over the map? Because with this we are going to reduce the load levels or the level or the time that takes the map to load all the scenario. Why? Because MiniWorld works in chunks. The chunks are group of blocks and they are going to be grouped in the horizontal way like in a certain amount, but all the chunk from the bottom to the top is going to load in just one. So with this we are going to load just 4 chunks for all the map. That means that a chunk is 16 blocks. So that means that the map is going to load faster and the players are not going to have that much amount of lag, okay? Very important, guys. The only requirement apart from build the scenario or the lobby, adopt the scenario, it's going to be this one, okay? In the same area where you are going to place the lobby, you are going to place the ready cube and the spawn cube, okay? And all the cubes are going to be with color white. That means that we are not, and very important guys, big warnings here, we are not going to do this. That means that we are not going to give a specific color to the spawner block, okay? And let me explain why. The system that I made for this one, what it actually is going to do is going to auto-detect the team, and it's going to assign the team to the players depending of the status of the game. That means that the team 1 is only reserved for their players that are not dying, and the team 2 is for the players that die inside the game. Alright, so that's very important. And also guys, the height for this, okay? This lobby, it's going to be located in 35 blocks. Try to do it over it, okay? More than 35 blocks, guys. You cannot place the lobby just over the map like in this area that are going to be like 10-20 blocks. It needs to have at least 35 blocks over the map, okay guys? Now, once you complete that, I'm going to ask you to start creating some specific items, okay guys? So very important guys, in our game we are going to have a money or an item that is going to be the money that the players can use to build or to get more items, okay? That means that they will be able to get potions or they are going to get something to power up their characters buying coins. In my case, I create a gem coin that depends on your art style. In my case, it's because it's going to be a tribal thing, but you can use different things. As an example, if you are doing a special station survival, you can use credit cards or whatever you want, okay? Second one that is going to be very important is going to be the life item. That means that inside the game you will be able to get some extra lives. And the life item is something that the player is going to have in the inventory, and once the player dies, he will be able to reborn if that person has this specific item. The third one is going to be the difficulty one, that is going to reduce the life of the players if a players get it. That means that it's going to increase the difficulty of the system. And finally, we are going to have the last one that is going to increase the amount of disasters at the same time that we are going to have. And we are going to start with the easy one, that is going to be the money for the game. So for creating a money icon, the only thing that you have to do is to create a new one. You are going to hit on create again in the yellow part. And once more, you are going to create in the plus sign that is going to allow you to create a completely new item. The completely new item is going to be this one, that is going to be the miss section, okay? Every one of these icons has a different name, and it has a quick description about what it does, but we are going to use the miss one. Why the miss one? The miss one doesn't have skills, it cannot be used. It's just some item that is going to be in your inventory, so that's why we are going to use this for creating money, okay? For creating the money, just hit this number that is going to be hashtag, or you can use it as a pound depending on your country. That allows us to create a color etiquette, okay? So as an example, if I use the Gion here on Magus in uppercase, will allow me to change the color for this text to green. And you can give a name to this specific coin. As an example, you can say coin here. Of course, that depends on you. And on here, as always, place a description. In my case, I'm going to use this item to buy items into the shop, okay? And if you want to highlight some parts, it's on you. In my case, I'm going to just highlight the important things of the text. So I'm going to put green on here, and green to close the color etiquette. You are going to use the color tag, okay? And then you are going to add a new icon. Remember that you have a lot of icons here. And in my previous classes, I teach you how to change the game file, so you will be able to find more icons. Or also you can use just a custom model. Probably you have already some models made, or you can download some models from the miniature system, okay? So I already have a lot of coins here. I'm going to use this one. And that's it. Very important, guys, on here, place 99, so the players will be able to get a lot of coins, and save it and add it into the game, okay? That's the first object that we are going to create. Second object, guys, and also I want to know if you have some questions, just let me know into the comments, okay? So, second object that we are going to create is going to be the life icon, okay? So the life item, okay? This is going to bring the players another life. Just do the same process, create a new item with a misc item from 0. On here, you are going to put life item, okay? Life, or you can be creative. Also, you can place one up like Mario does. So that's going to be something cool, okay? It's easier to read. It's something that is in most of the cultures because a lot of people know the basic things about gaming in Mario. So you can place just one up, okay? And always place the description, guys. Very important, always place the description for your icon or your item, because the players will need to know what your item does, okay? Get an extra life for your map, okay? Now, on here, you can give again whatever visual part you wanted. In my case, in my game, I place a lanternfish on it, but remember that you will be able to place any icon on there and just add it into your game again. So right now we have two different items. We have the coin item and the life item, okay? Now, very important, guys, for this also you need to create a buff, okay, guys? For now, we are going to create the basic items once more. Don't get overwhelming, don't get over stressed. We are just going to create the basic items, so over those items, you will be able to create the basic system, okay? The system that controls all the disasters and all the things, okay? So now, I need you to create another buff that is going to be the Observer buff. What is going to do the Observer buff? When a player dies inside the game, the players is going to be switched to the team number 2. That means that he won't be able to play anymore, but he will be able to observe the other players. So the Observer buff, what it does is to give the player a different appearance, and it's going to avoid the player to attack or receive damage or do anything, okay? So what we are going to do is that we are going to create a new buff, okay, guys? So let me switch 1 second here the screen. I see, welcome GP Gamecaster. So I see that a lot of you are from Thailand right now. So thank you so much, Queen, for that. I really appreciate it. So guys, apart from that, okay? So we are going to add a new buff, a new status, guys. And just to let you know, a buff in any kind of game means something that improves temporarily your character stats or your character abilities, okay? Or skills. In many words, depending on your language, it has different traductions. Sometimes you can find it as a buff, or sometimes you can find it as a status, and also sometimes, by some errors in the traduction, you can find it as an effect, okay guys? But all of those are going to be the same, okay? So you need to be in the plugin library and you hit on status, and you are going to add a new buff, okay? You are going to create it from zero, and once more you are going to add it from here, right here, you are going to add just a new one. As always, you are going to see this interface just in the front. First, select the icon for that one, as this is going to be observer, that is not going to be a bad buff. That means that in general, green means that is something that gives you something extra, and red means something that it's just taking out some skills from you, or it's just reducing your power. So use a green one that is going to be something more neutral, and in a special effect, you are not going to place anything, or also in sound effect, but you have to give it a name, okay? Players need to know why they are there, or what they are having that effect, okay? So the name for this one, in my case, is going to be Observer. Okay? So the description is going to be, now you are dead. You can observe, or you can see other players, but not play, okay? And more important, here we are going to switch to the effect tab, and in the tab we are going to add two different things. The first thing is going to be in special, and it's going to be invincible. That means that the player won't be able to die, won't be able to receive damage. And the second one is going to be the change mode, okay guys? And then let me explain how it works. What it's going to do is to change the appearance, so the player is going to look like a ghost. So if you play my game, most of you realize that when you die, you are going to become a jellyfish. You can use whatever model you want. The important thing here is to change the settings. So first important thing, done. And let me take my glasses. As always in the class, when I take my glasses, it's something that I want to be sure that you are not going to do. Guys, if you find that part, important things, don't place this. Don't place back view when converting, because this is a little bit buggy and it's going to change the camera for all the players. Don't worry for that. If the system that I'm going to provide you already implements this third-party camera, you don't have to set up that, but don't use this one, okay? But very important, yes, this one needs to be on. That is the one that says can use the items when it's converting. That means that the players won't be able to use any item if they are observers. They won't be able to pick up items or things like that, okay? So welcome, Bob. I see that you are saying hi in the comments. Welcome to the channel back. And just save here. And as you see now, you will be able to have those specific two effects for this. Very important also, guys, on here you can choose a model, okay? You can choose the design that the player is going to have when the player dies. As an example, you can choose a table, a small table if you are doing a magic game, or you can choose another thing, okay? Just give me a second. I'm going to take some water here. I'm going to place into this map the penguin as a model, okay? That's something easy, and I'm going to add the buff to the game. Always when you change models or when you do any change in your game, remember that you need to come back to the game to be sure that the changes are going to be saved. Okay guys, especially when you are dealing with buffs and actors. So, very important guys, in your map, you are going to create an area or two areas, okay? So the first one, it's going to be an area that is going to be in the top of your map, and it's going to cover all your map, okay? Let me explain why. We are going to have two areas, one on the floor and one on the top. The one on the floor is going in the roof, in the top, is going to help us to create some effects like the acid rain, like as an example the meteor shower. And the one in the bottom is going to be the objective. So we are going to create a projectile that goes from the top to the bottom. So for those that didn't know how to create an area, just hit on here on tool mode, and you're going to have this new and specific interface. Okay, so you see that the interface changed. Now I don't have items, I have those UE elements. So you are going to hit on the one that is the blue square, and you are going to place the area starting on the top in one of the corners, and then you are going to move all the way to the other side. Guys, it's very important to cover all your map. You are going to probably notice that you are too far away when this becomes on red. That's completely normal, guys, okay? And what you are going to do is you are going to rename this. And very important, guys, always rename your areas. Why you need to rename your areas? Because when you are going to have a lot of scripts or a lot of triggers, you are going to mess up if you don't give a name to your areas, okay? It's going to be much easier to edit, so you are going to avoid wasting much more time. So on this one, you are going to place sky area, and later, after you do that, you are going to create another one, guys, another one here, okay, in the bottom, or you can do it over the lava. Just be sure that it's going to be under the floor, under the normal floor area, so players are not going to mess up with that one. And you are going to also cover all your map, okay? You are going to give a name to this one, and you are going to rename it as floor area, okay? And that's it. Now we have two different areas. Okay, so let me close this one. And we have two different areas, guys, okay? So the first one is going to be the one on the roof or in the top, and the other one in the bottom, okay, guys? Minimum amount of the size, probably I did it a little bit low this time, but you need to be sure that it's going to have enough space from the top of your volcano, okay? As you see, I have the same system here. I have two areas, but important things, guys. Important things that you have to notice about this area is first that this area is going to be under the lobby, okay? Not at the same height, not over it. It needs to be under the lobby. So guys, at least it needs to be 10 blocks over the volcano, okay, guys? So now we have those two things, very important. What we left is now to create or start creating some basic elements before starting creating our disasters, okay, guys? So for those basic elements, we need to start creating some systems, okay? And the first thing that we are going to do before messing with the triggers is that we are going to mess with a script, okay, guys? As always, I create a script for you guys, and let me explain what is going to do the script. The script first is going to auto create the teams, so you don't have to worry for that. It's going to auto assign the players to a specific team. It's going to auto give the player the item when he dies and each round. And most important, guys, is going to fix some problems with mini-world gameplay. As an example, if the player leaves and try to access again, and if the player dies, it's going to become an observer. It's going to give the players the auto observer buff, okay? So important thing, guys, for this, you are going to open the developer tools here. And in the developer tools, you are going to create a new script set, okay? This new script set, you are going to give it a name. The name is going to be basic functions, okay? Of course, you can give whatever name, basic functions or basic systems. You can use also that one. Okay? Okay, guys, and what it's going to do? This script is going to save the basic systems that are not going to be personal or skins or skills or something very specific for your map. Is going to get the general systems. Okay, guys? So welcome, Sad is me. We were missing you. But yeah, welcome back to the class. All right, so first thing that we are going to do with this is that we are going to create a new script. Guys, when you create a new script, remember always to delete the script, okay? The basic one. So you hit in the trash can and then you hit on confirm, okay, guys? Let me be sure. Yes, you are able to see my screen right now. Now, what we are going to do with this, okay? So we have here that information. Now, the most important thing is that we are going to save it and we are going to change the name, okay? So the name for this script is going to be survival system, okay? Now that you have that one created, we are going to import a script. So let me take this on here, and as always, guys, in the description you will be able to find a link to actually get to this website, and also I'm going to place it into the chat section, okay? I see, very good. So you already finished the map. Very good, Penny. So right now you will be able to add the natural disasters, and I really like that you complete that map, okay? So now we are going to start moving this specific system, okay, guys? So when you access to this website, that is going to be this website that I place into the comments. Okay, I see. I'm very good to know that, Dave, and I hope you have the first feature map with this one. Okay, so probably with this is going to be. So just pay attention to the class and remember to ask me any questions if you have any questions into the mini world. Okay, so once you have this, okay, you are going to do the next thing. You are going to search for the one that says survival system. Okay, guys, very important, guys. In bit heads about this. Probably a common problem with this when I'm creating some specific of these ones for you. There is a problem, and it's probably that you have a different language on this one. Let me show you an example. Okay, and it's that, as you see, this script is going to look different because I'm having the traduction here on the top. So very important, guys, if your computer or your phone is out to giving the traduction to this, your script is not going to work. As you see, there is a lot of words here that may change, but also those are going to change, and that is not the best because it's going to give you a lot of errors. So be sure that on here on the search bar you are going to deactivate the automatic transduction. So if you don't know how to do it, and probably you have a different web browser like Chrome, just search how to deactivate, how to cancel that. Okay, so once you have actually, or you are be sure that this is not going to happen, just copy this script. Okay, probably in the cell phone you have to click where it says show the script or show the code. But the important thing is that when you find out the code, you need to copy all the parts from the top to the bottom. Just do this. Okay, and copy, guys. Okay, just hit on copy. Very important, guys, and I just increase the size a little bit. Be sure that this part, okay, or the part in the top is not copied. Okay, guys, just be sure that you copy everything inside the code that starts here and finish on here. okay? And be sure that everything inside the code is copied, okay? Once you have everything copied, just go ahead, access to MiniWorld, click on System and Survival System, and just paste that, okay? Just hit paste, And once you have pasted, you are going to see all the text here, okay guys? Very important guys, first test that you can do, just hit on save. And if it's not giving you any alert, any warning, that means that your system is working. As an example, if you get something wrong, if you copy something wrong like this, as an example, when you try to save, it's going to give you some errors. That means that you completely forgot to copy something, okay? So that is very important guys, check and be sure that the script that you are copying, it's okay. So once you have your script copy, I'm going to use this software because it will allow me to do the screen or to create a screen a little bit closer so you will be able to see better what I'm going to do. Okay guys, so once you copy and paste this script, you are going to have a lot of new functions, okay? So let me explain very quickly, step by step, what this specific script is going to do. First thing guys, this is going to detect when a player dies, and it's going to change the player to the team blue. Also it's going to give the effect to the team blue, it's going to give the observer effect that they are going to look like a jellyfish or whatever model you place on it. And it's going to give first a shield for all the players when that player dies. It's going to also give a coin for each round, and also it's going to give some points to the team for winner. So it's going to auto manage the player points, okay? Also, it's going to auto detect when the game is end. So it's going to auto detect when the players or when the team is only with one player and all the other players are already died, to give the winning prize to the winner and define a winner. Another important thing that is going to do is that going to auto detect if a player already dies into the room, and if the player leaves and try to access again, the player is going to be auto detected as lose, and it's going to be added to the observer team, to the players that already died. So that part is important because the players won't be able to cheat. And it's going to have a couple of functions more, like as an example, you will be able to reduce the life with a specific item for all the players to increase the difficulty, okay? It's going to do a lot of things, okay? But it's very easy to set up, okay? So guys, now that you have and you know what is going to do this script, the first thing that we are going to see here in MiniWorld is going to look exactly the same. What I did is just to use a software to increase the zoom, because on MiniWorld I cannot increase the zoom. But if you scroll down in MiniWorld, there is going to be a part that says setup, okay? It's this part. And if you scroll down, you are going to see this text. That is all the setup that you have to do. You don't have to mess with the code at all, apart from this part, okay? Everything else is going to be automated. You don't have to do anything. This part is the part that you actually want to mess with. Of course, if you want to explore a little bit, you can do it, but always saved an original copy of this, so you won't be able to mess up in case something goes wrong, okay? But remember, the only thing that you need to manage is this one, okay? So let me switch to the other software so you will be able to see for a closer part this, and it's going to be able to read better, okay? So in the setup section, there are some parts that are in green that are dividing the different things that you need to set up, okay? First thing, we need to set up the stats, okay? So remember the last class I teach you to create some stats for your class. On here, you will be able to set up those stats, okay? So in my case, the max amount of life, it was 2000. Very important, guys. Remember that this need to be placed in the player stats when we set up the rules. It needs to be the same number, okay? So in here, you only need to change the numbers. So if, an example, if in your map the players are going to have 100 life, you only change this for 100, okay? In my case, it's going to be 200. Now, very important, how many points or many coins, how many money it's going to receive the player or all the teams when a player dies. In my case, I just place a 3 on here. The only thing that you need to do is to change the numbers. As an example, if you want to give 10 coins when the player dies, just hit 10 on here, okay? Now, after that section, that is going to be the easier one to set up, you will have this one that shows different things. First one shows player points, coins, item, okay? And on here you have a description also for what it does. And it's very, very simple, guys. On here you need to find the ID for your coin, okay? Yep. All right. Yes. Welcome, YeyoCore and Silver LSL, okay? Yes, it's just to copy and paste, basically, and change something, okay? So, in player points coins item, you are going to do the next thing. Okay, and let me switch to MiniWord again. It's the same that I just showed you, but it's here. As you see, it's a little bit smaller, so I use the other software. But in MiniWord, if you are in computer, what you are going to do is just hit on here in ID library on the top, just under the trash icon item, or icon, sorry. And under, in the scroll down menu, you need to search where it says item, okay? Where it says item, you are going to find all those things. And all those things are going to be the items that you can insert this, and it's going to give you a number. And here, you are going to switch to custom. And remember the coin that we just created? That's the number that we need to place under. So if you see here, just where I place the mouse over it, it's going to show me the information, and in some point it's showing me hem coin and the ID number, okay? So in the ID it's having two points and it says 4099. That means that is going to be the number that I need to insert there, okay? All right, so on here you're going to see that is the same number. And very important, guys, if, and this is very important, you are using a cell phone, probably you are not going to have this menu here. Don't worry, just relax. For this, I also made a solution for all of you guys, because I see that most of the players are having that errors. So in the same website, I'm going to place again into the comments, into the chat, sorry. You are going to find, and this is only for the ones that have cell phone, or if you have a computer, you can use it too. There is one that is being named as a get item ID. And what it's going to do, it's just this specific small piece of code that you also copy and paste into the scripts. So just hit on copy and paste with the same technique. Be sure that it's not translating to any other language. And when you place it on here, okay, what it's going to do, it's very simple, guys. When you move in your shortcut, something is going to show you the ID of that item. So you will be able to get the ID, but just by placing that item in your hand. So let me show you the example very quickly, because I find out that that's something that maybe you will need if you are using a cell phone, okay? So as an example, I'm going to place here the coin, the life, and the different items that we are going to use for this initial setup, okay? Okay. Oh, okay. So, as an example, if I place this here and I select it, if you see here, it's going to tell me the number. It says 4099. Let me change the item in my hand. And it's going to also tell me the number. So remember, if you are using a cell phone, if you're editing in a cell phone, just copy also that script, and that's going to make your life much easier, okay? And when you don't want to see that, just hit on here and it's going to be deactivated. Moving back to the script back again, okay? So remember that we were in that section. Again, we already set up the item ID for the coin, okay, guys? Now we also have this one that says prior points life item, okay? And what is that? Is the item that allows you to have an extra life inside the game. It's the item that we just created. You have to do the same, okay? So, once more, you delete the number on there that you are going to have by default. You hit on here an ID library, you hit on item, or you use the other system that I show you, and under you need to get the item that gets your life and extra life, and it's going to have the number here that is 4117. And finally, okay, we are going to have another item. Just create another item that is going to be called difficulty system. That means that item is going to reduce the life of all the team at the beginning in -25 or whatever number you want, okay? And basically it's to increase the difficulty. So just select that item here. How you are going to do it? Just hit again in item, custom, and select the item that is going to do that. In my case, is going to be the HP totem. The setup is just the same that we made for the coins or the life item. It's just an miss item, okay? We finished that part. Then we are going to have another section for the setup. The section says buffs, okay? And that is important. Remember that we create an observer buff at the beginning of the class. Well, we need to do the same here. We need to place that buff here, okay? So if it's the first buff that you're creating, is going to be the number is going to be the same that I got here, but you change the 0 here. And how you can get the number on here? Again, just hit ID library, okay? Now you are going to hit on buff here, and in buff you are going to go to custom, and you have the number here and the description. Okay guys, as always, the first one that you are going to create it is going to have the same number that I have, but the number 1 at the end, okay? So just remember to place that code here. So important things guys, also something that I want to show you. When you insert it from here and you get this code, as you see, it's going to have here like this number, okay? And let me change to the other screen so you will be able to see it. It's going to have a comma and a number after the number. The only thing that you need to do is to delete the 1 and the comma, okay? And on here, remember to place the number that is going to work, okay? The number that you just gave, okay? So if in your case it's going to be, I think this one, but that depends on your game, okay? You need to get the number in here. Now comes another couple of easy things. After that, you are going to have a separator and it says text, okay? And that's the easiest part of this. On here, you have the different text that your player is going to see when the player dies. So first one, it has all of them are going to have the description right here after the 2 notation marks. So the first one is the message when the player uses an extra life. So in my case, I place resurrects -1 life, okay? Remember that you can change this as an example. You can place you survive or whatever you want, okay? Even in your language. Important things here, guys. Remember that all the text that you place needs to be in between those 2 notation marks. Otherwise, your script is going to give you some errors, okay? That's the only important thing here. And you have to do the same with the others. As an example on here, message when player uses an extra life, actually is going to be, and truly sorry for this one, the second one is going to be when the player dies, what message is going to receive all the people. And the third one is going to be the message when the player is an observer, okay? Nothing else, nothing more. And finally, we are going to have the last section that says avoid glitch, or the section about the different size, okay? And let me explain how it works. It's something very easy, okay? And what is going to do this system is with those 2 numbers, it's going to auto kill the player when the players get out of the map, okay? So I don't know if you realize this, but when you get to the area 0, if you are going to keep falling and a part like very low, Meteor is going to kill you, okay? So sometimes that creates problems because probably the player is going to be too far away, and Meteor is going to detect that the player is not in area and is going to create some mistakes. Sometimes the player got killed twice, 3, 4 times. and that's not good, okay? So to resolve that, I create also in the same system a system that is going to kill you if you get automatically under the block number 0. So that means that if you are in the block number 0, you are going to die, okay? And that's very important for your map. Also, this one has a limit, guys, okay? So that system also is going to kill you if you reach more than certain health, okay? So if you get over the lobby, it's going to kill you. So what do you need to do? The only thing that you need to do is just to stand over the top of your lobby, just in the same block, hit M, and on here you are going to see something that says altitude or says health or whatever you have number here that is going to measure the altitude for your map. Just go ahead and place that number here. Okay, so in the script again, let me switch to the top. You are going to have the number here and just place the number here. The 0, keep it like it is because you cannot go under 0. On here, just place that number. And that means that if the player gets pushed too far away, it's going to die. And that's it, guys. Now you just go ahead and hit save on your script, and your script is going to work, is going to do the survival system. So we finish with this first part. With that, you don't have to worry to set up the teams or set up everything. Just remember it by having this and by being sure that in your map rules, in the team settings, you have 2 different teams, the survivors and the observers. With that, your team is going to work. Once more, something important that I forget to tell you is for the rules of the team number 2, remember the team number 2 is going to be the team of the observers. Just take out all the permissions except the one that says movable, okay? Probably you are going to have a mistake because in the last class I told you to take out all the permissions. No, just keep the one that says movable on, okay? Just to be sure that it's going to work fine. I see, so welcome Kenzie. You mean the notification for MiniWord or the notification for the YouTube channel? Alright guys, so with this, we already have that part covered. Please answer me, Kenzie, with that. I will be able to fix that if it's in my hands, because I see that you missed the notification. So, on this part, until this point, we create the basis for your map. Now you are going to have the system. You don't have to do anything else for set up that part of the system. Everything is going to be set up, at least in that part about the survival, okay? That means that your players are going to be able to win or lose. Now, we are going to ask you a question, guys, okay? And is if you understand how to place the scripting game, okay? I just wanna be sure, so probably I'm going to get more over it if you didn't understand. So now let's do the next thing, okay guys? So now we are going to start creating our first Meteor system, okay guys? So very important guys, this is going to have 2 things. First, let me explain how the disasters are going to work. The disaster system is very easy. We have a timer. The timer is going to have 30 seconds. And every time that timer expires, is going to create a disaster. That's it. It doesn't have like more deeper things. We only have a couple of things for this. The first one is that we are going to have 3 variables. The first one that is going to be named as a disaster. That is a number and is going to tell us, remember, let me show you in the screen back again when we did that. Remember that the last class, in the recap section, we made this, and that was the number here, okay? And apart from the number, we get the disaster name and we have the description, right? So the first variable that we are going to create is going to be called disaster and is going to handle these numbers. That means that when that variable is in number 3, it's going to have an acid rain. The second one is going to be disaster name, that actually is going to handle the name of the disaster. And the third one, it's going to be something extra. This is going to be a timer. Each one of the disasters are going to have a timer. As an example, when the system set up disaster to number 1, it's going to set up the name of the disaster as a meteor shower, and is going to run a timer that is going to have 30 seconds of meteor shower. The only thing that the system does is confirm if the meteor shower timer is more than 0, it's going to run the meteor shower. And that's how the system is going to work. Of course, that is the basics. We are going to add some extra things to look cooler, to make it look much better. So let me switch to MiniWord again, now that I give you that quick explanation. And the first thing that we are going to create is our system, okay? So what you need to do, and let me create a new trigger set here, and we are going to move it to the top. Okay, no, this is not what I was expecting. Oh yeah, it's here. Rearrange, and we are going to move this to the top, okay? So you will be able to find out what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to rename it as an disaster controller, okay? But remember, in your map, it's going to be named as a basic system, okay? Now, the first trigger that we are going to create is going to be named as a game ini, okay? And what does game ini does? It's very simple. It's just to start the game, okay? So first thing that we are going to do here is that we are going to create a timer, okay? So the first event that we are going to do is when a specific timer change, okay? All right, that is the first one that we are going to have. Yes, and it, or yes, saying, not worries for that. Sometimes the script is going to appear as a paragraph on mobile. Don't worry for that, it's going to work. Just be sure that you will be able to edit everything before placing into the game, okay? So you can download another software. In the description, you can find of the video, or any of my videos actually. We're going to have like the different links to get software that you can use to edit on Android, okay? So one of them is Sublime Text. Sublime Text is going to allow you to edit the script, and once you edit it, just copy and paste it into MiniWord, so you are going to avoid that error, so don't worry for that, okay? Hello from Thailand again, and welcome Shindani Tong Puasi. Truly sorry that I'm not able to pronounce your name very well. I didn't know how the lexical part works for Thailand. I think I pronounced it something very close to the right pronunciation, but I'm not sure of that. Okay, and now, very important guys, coming back to the trigger, you are going to hit on here, on the timer, and on here, you are going to create a new variable, guys. The variable name is going to be start time, okay? So remember, if you don't have the variable, just hit on variables and create a new variable and give it a name. The name is going to be start time, okay? When the start time changes, that is the actual trigger that we are going to create. And remember, the second one is going to be to measure or to know how many time left in the timer. So hit numerical comparison in condition. The first one you are going to hit on function, okay, and timer time. In timer time you are going to hit and you are going to select start time. And when the start time, it's going to be 0, okay, that's it. Remember, we are going to be sure that when it changes but it's on 0, we are going to start the game. And what game ini does, it's very simple. First, it's going to stop game timer, okay? So you are going to hit here, and on here we are going to go to timer, and you are going to stop timer, okay? The timer is going to be, remember, is start time, okay? And apart from that, let me switch to this one. We are going to do another thing, and is that we are going to create a Boolean comparison, guys, okay? So you are going to hit here, you are going to hit assigned, and you are going to assign Boolean value setup, okay? On Boolean value, you are going to create a new variable. The variable is going to be game started, okay, guys? And what it's going to do? Game started is going to measure that the game already started to avoid repeating some extra triggers like this one, like the start time, okay? Now, another important thing is that you are going to give here, or you are going to start running a timer. So the timer, it's which actually is going to start the game, okay? So what you are going to do is to just run a countdown timer, and the timer is going to be a new timer. The timer is going to be this timer, okay? This timer stands for disaster timer. In my case, I placed just the first 3 letters, so it's going to be easier to read, okay, and faster, okay? So this timer is going to be the time that we are going to have to start, or we get before starting another disaster, okay? So every time that this timer, that is going to be this one, this timer, when I mean this, I mean DIS, no this from this country or this area, this timer, it's going to get in 0, we are going to create a new disaster. So what we are going to give here is enough time for the players to find out a place to cover, so that is going to be the time that the players are going to have to start the game, okay? So we are going to give 11 seconds for the players to start the game. Apart from that, we are going to set up the other variable. Remember that I teach you or tell you that we are going to handle the name in another variable. Well, we are going to assign, and in assigned, we are going to set a character string, okay? And the character string, we are going to select a variable. The variable is going to be, again, this name. So remember, everything that has this before the name of the variable is going to be related with the disaster, okay? And once you find out or you create this variable, you are going to set up the variable value to time to start, okay? Once we have the time to start, the variable is going to start looking like this, okay? And the only thing that you have to do apart from this is actually to two things more. You are going to display the chat to all the players. You know already how to create a chat. Remember, this is going to be for all the players, not for one player, so hit player group. Then telling the players to survive. You are going to show a message to all the players saying a floating message, the one that appears in the front that says survive. But the most important part is that you are going to run another trigger, okay? So, remember guys, let me show you very quickly. You are going to hit here, okay? Again, you are going to go to player group, and on here you are going to find display chat to a player group and display text message to a player group. Remember, on there you select all the players and you select the text message, okay? But more important, we are going to create the other trigger, okay? The trigger is going to have an event that is going to be player enters the game. You can find that event in players, and the conditions are going to be the next one. First one, numerical comparison. Then you are going to select timer time, and you are going to select the timer time is equal to 0, okay? That's very important, okay? The second one is that game started needs to be true. This is a little bit trickier, but to find out the Boolean, you need to go to tool and determine Boolean comparison, okay guys, just to let you know. And remember, game started needs to be yes. And now for the actions, okay? For the actions, you are going to assign a value to the variable. So remember, you can find that in assigned. And in assigned, you are going to choose a player private variable, and under you are going to change or create a new variable. The variable is going to be named as a respawn, okay guys? Very important, respawn is going to tell the system where the player is going to born. And then you are going to assign a value to the system, okay? So how you are going to do that, okay? It's very easy, guys. You are going to place a location in the half of the map, and this is very important, guys, okay? So for those that didn't know how to place a location, use the tool mode here. Hit the tool mode, here the number 2 on here, very important, not the number 1, the number 2, it's going to be yellow part, and just do the left click or tap in any part of your map, but remember it needs to be around the center, and rename that as a spawn location, okay guys? I'm not going to place it again because I already have it here. But the most important, guys, is that you are going to set up that variable as the next thing. You are going to choose function library, okay? In function library, you are going to select a location offset, okay? In location, you are going to select the location that you just create. That is going to be the location in the center. Okay. And most important things, guys, you are going to have 3 numbers here. Okay, so now for this part, let me explain how it works. What it's going to do is to take the location that we create and sweep along the coordinates, means that from this location, how far away we are going to get from this location, okay? So as an example, 0, it's in the same location. 1 is going to be 1 block away. 2 is going to be 2 blocks away, okay? The second value, the second 0, is going to be the health. So 1 is going to 0 is going to be the same location. 1 is 1 block over it. 2 is 2 blocks over it, and 3 blocks is over it. And the third or the last 0 is going to be the depth of this. So that means that 0 is going to be the same location, but 1 is going to be 1 block away, 2 blocks away, and 3 blocks away. So we are going to move the players around a random amount of blocks of distance about the central location, okay? So how do you do that? Very simple. You are going to keep the center as 0, but the other ones you are going to choose function library. On function library, you are going to select random number, and you are going to keep it like it is, from 1 to 10 blocks away from the center. And the second one, you are going to keep it like it is, remember, on 0, or let's say 1, okay? That means that we are going to spawn the players 1 block or 2 blocks, let's say 2 blocks over the floor, okay? Just in case you are not going to stuck in the floor, okay? And the third one, the third value, it's going to be, again, function, math, and random number between one of them. And that's it. That's what it's going to do. The system is going to auto assign the locations, okay? Very important, guys, be sure, and this is something that I want to show you. As you notice here, I forgot to put the names on the locations, okay? So it's going to be confusing. So remember to always rename your locations, okay? So you are going to avoid a lot of mistakes. Volcano, it's going to be the location 1. Okay, no, this is going to be totem. And the location number 2 is going to be center or map center, okay? Very important, guys. As you see, I get confused. So even I get confused with that. So it's very important for you to be sure that you are placing the right location. As you see, I was placing on the wrong location. So that's why I need to correct that, okay? Now, very important, guys. Second condition will be you are going to select players and you are going to select change respawn point. And what you are going to do is select players, function library, player, private variable, and in private variable, guys, you are going to select a respawn, okay? And don't worry if your brain has stopped working, it's okay. So hello there, remember that you will be able to have this as a resume so you can check later step by step. Okay, so don't worry for that. Just take the time later when you are creating the map. Just check this video again and you will be able to check that part, okay? Finally, guys, and very important, we are going to change the player's current location. So for that, again, add another script here. You select players, change location, okay, that is this one. And when it's telling you to change location, you are going to select players in the event, and the current location is going to be respawned. So that means that the players are going to appear in any part. Now, very important, guys, you are going to go back to game ini, and what you are going to do is you are going to select on here player group operated trigger on a player set, and can see that was something that you were asking me. This is going to execute this trigger to all the players in a specific trigger set. So you are going to select first the trigger. The trigger is the one that we were just checking, that was spawn players, and the trigger set or the player set is going to be function library player group all players. Okay, so we are going to check the conditions. Of course it needs to be true because we want to be sure that the conditions are going to be checked. Okay, or well, actually it was not going to matter too much because actually it's the beginning of the game, so it's okay. So let me explain what does the second. The second one auto spawns the player even if the player accesses after the game starts. So that's why we have conditions apart from this one, okay? So we have the first part. Now let's start creating the Meteor shower, okay guys? Alright, so MiniWord is here. Alright guys, so sorry, I have to take a little bit of water. Don't make fun of my voice when I get like that noise. It was my throat that is a little bit tired. You know, when you talk a lot, you get a little bit tired. Alright, so guys, how the Meteor system works, okay? It's pretty simple, guys. We are going to do the next things, okay? And let me create this from zero with you. You are going to access here to the plugin editor, and we are going to add a new prop, okay guys? The prop, it's going to be a new one, but with gaps here. We are going to edit something that already exists because we don't want to take that much time for this one, okay? Yes, hello here, that's the best way. And don't worry, also remember, I know that you probably cannot talk me directly in the Discord channel. Try to solve the problem with your email so I will be able to help you out on the Discord channel. So, very important guys here. On here, you are not going to hit on create, you are going to hit on edit, okay? And in edit, you are going to search this one, the rocket one, okay guys? So the rocket one is something that can create explosion that already have the effects, so we are going to take advantage of that. And on there, you are going to find this. Of course, you are going to change the name, okay? Alright guys, so you are going to change the name. Alright, I see, so you're... Alright, perfect, the code is working, so that's good. Alright, so guys, you are going to delete the description and you are going to change the model for that one, okay? You can use whatever model you want or whatever model you have. I already have a model here and I'm going to teach you what you have to take care about that, okay? So as you see, it's very simple to create a meteor. That's going to be the face, okay? Oh, I completely lose it, I cannot find, okay, it's here. Okay, all right. So let me show you how I create the actual meteor, okay? What I did for the meteor, and very quickly I'm going to create it. It's first I place here a normal miniature block, okay? Once I did that, what I made is just here I create a ball, okay? Oh, okay. What happened here? All right. I'm going to create a ball. I'm going to change the size. Be sure that it's going to fit on here. Okay. All right. So once you create the ball, okay. And remember, I use a black. In the original one, I use a black code here. Be sure that this is not going to happen to you. That actually this is going to be inside the square. But what I did after creating that ball was creating a miniature, and then using the model block that is going to be this one, the one that you can find here. What I did is just to do two cool things with it. First, I changed the size for it, so the original size was this one, okay? And if you see, it's very small. Very small actually, okay? What I did is just create the circle. As you see, it's just a circle here. Nothing special, a black circle. But I changed the size, so it's going to look bigger, okay? And in both parameters, you also can increase the size more. I advise you just to increase the size to the double, because 2 it's too going to 3 is going to be too much. And yeah, on here, that's it. You can export it as a prop. And with that, you are going to have the model for your projectile, okay guys? So, important things about this Meteor that we are creating, okay, is that the attributes needs to be the same. Throwable needs to be completely off. The projectile attack is going to be 4, guys, very important, 4. The gravity, it's going to be 3. And the initial speed is going to be 350 or 50. Finally, hit target, and this is very important, guys, needs to be on creatures and blocks. And finally, break block needs to be on, okay? That's the only setup. As you see, there is not going to have any other setup. Once you have this one, once you have created this Meteor, add it into your game. Remember, guys, very important to add it into your game to see it and restart the game, re-enter the map, sorry. Not restart MiniWorld, just restart the map. With that, you are going to see that Meteor, okay? And how you are going to shot or how you are going to create that, okay? So you are going to create first a script and trigger that is going to be called start, okay? And let me move this a little bit backwards so you will be able to see a little bit better this. All right, so you are going to create a new script set that is going to be named as starters. Okay, in starters, you are going to add a new trigger. Okay, I'm going to create it here because this is the example, but you are going to create it in starters. Starters are going to be the actual scripts that starts the disaster, and then we are going to have another that is going to be the actual one that executes the trigger. Okay, but just hit in add a new one. You are going to change the name, and very important, guys, naming here is going to be very important to avoid confusions, so be sure that you place it like it is, of course in your language, but Meteor starter. Okay, we are going to have two different Meteor triggers, so be sure that you place it in Meteor starter. And what you are going to do here is that we are going to do the next thing. First, we are going to not get any event, okay guys, very important. Then we are going to move here and we are going to do a numerical comparison, and on the text we are going to select a variable and we are going to select disaster. If you don't have the disaster, just create the variable just like it is, and this disaster needs to be equals to 1. Okay guys, remember the disaster needs to be equals to 1. Just once more, remember the presentation that we give a number to each one of the disasters. That's why, so the disaster is the number 1. Remember, we are going to have different things here, but I teach you first. We need to have the disaster name, the disaster timer, and the disaster number, okay? Disaster number, we already have it, so guess what we are going to do next? Hello, name no. Welcome back to the class, okay? So, first one, we are going to set up the name for the disaster, okay? So we are going to hit assign, and we are going to assign a character string. So remember that we just create a variable that it was disaster name. And of course, guess what we are going to put on here? Try to guess. Yeah, what's going to be here is the name of the disaster. So this disaster is going to be a meteor. So place it as a meteor, okay? Height advice, keep it on block majus in uppercase. So you are going to be sure that actually it's going to be showing for the players. So just select Meteor Show here, and we have the first part, okay? Important things, I was forgetting that. Remember that you can give a color to it. The red color is going to be something dangerous in most of the cultures, so you can use the art as a red color. Then we are going to do something extra. Remember that we already have the disaster number, the disaster name. Now we need to set up the timer, okay? So we are going to run down or count down the timer. So the timer is going to be the timer, a new timer, okay? So guys, the timer, it's going to be the timer that controls the disaster, okay? And the new timer is going to be named as this meteor, okay? So remember the first timer that we created was disaster timer that controls how long or how many times or how often the disasters are going to be spawned. Disaster meteor, or this meteor, is going to count for how long the disaster meteor is going to last. So remember to create a disaster meteor or this meteor. As you see, all the things that I use as a disaster has just these initial 3 letters. And the countdown is going to be 30 seconds, guys. Okay, that's the amount of time that the round is going to last. Remember, each round is going to last 30 seconds according to the presentation that we made. Remember the game plan, we said 30 seconds for each disaster. So it's going to be okay. Repeat timer is going to be false, okay? Now, with this, your disaster is going to start, okay? But we left a couple of things, okay? First, we need to show this timer to the players, guys. Okay, so to show the text in the top, remember, like the countdown in the top, we have to display the channel. So we are going to hit on show timer. The timer, it's going to be disaster timer, okay? And you are not going to spawn the disaster meteor here, the disaster timer, and I'm going to explain you why. To player set, you are going to select function, player, all players, okay? Remember guys, always player group, all players is going to show to all the players. You are going to be sure that all the players are going to see it. And the title, and that's the most important thing, is going to be the disaster name. That's why we create that variable. That means that whatever we do, the disaster name, it's going to be on there, okay? So now that we have the disaster name, this is the basic one, this is the basic triggers. With this, your disaster is going to work wherever or however you can place a cool extra things here. So as you see here, the only things that I do extra is to create a text in the chat that says to the players the name of the disaster, a separator, and also a description about the disaster and what it does. That's on you guys. Remember, for this, just hit on add a new action, player group, display chat group. On there, you place the name of the disaster, and whatever text you want to do, also do it with the description. But with this, your disaster is already going to work, okay? So just in case you want to expand that part, just create those texts below this, okay? That's the first part. The second part is that we need to create the actual disaster, okay? So that's going to allow the game to spawn meteors. Now we are going to create the meteors, okay? So we are going to create a new trigger set, guys. Create a new trigger set. Your trigger set is going to be called disasters, Okay, I'm just going to create it here because it's a class, but remember that you are going to have a new one that is going to be name it as a disasters. Okay, guys, very important. Just taking count about that. Okay, and in that disasters new folder, you are going to create a new one that is going to be called Meteor exe. Okay, Meteor exe, it's actually which is going to execute the meteor. Okay, and the conditions for this one are going to be very simple, guys. I know that the first one was a little bit confusing. Now it's going to be much simple. Okay, so you are going to add a new event. The event is going to be game and designate timer change. The timer, you need to put the name as this meteor changes. Then in conditions, you are going to add a new condition. It's going to be numerical comparison. In numerical comparison, you are going to add timer time, and the timer time is going to be disaster meteor. Okay, remember on here you select timer time and disaster meteor. Okay, very important, guys. The condition needs to be that the meteor needs to be greater than 0, and also here is when we add the random part. Okay, if you spawn every meteor every second, it's going to be too unfair, and it's going to, the players can actually predict when the meteor is going to fall. So we are going to add something random. Okay, so every time, every second, we have 80% of chances that spawn a meteor. And how you do that, guys? When you get or want to get a chance to get something, the only thing that you need to do is to, on here, and you add a numerical comparison, you are going to select then function library and math and random number. And the random number needs to be between 0 and 100. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that we are going to get any number, as an example 5. The condition needs to be that it has to be less or equal to, and then the percentage of amount that you want to get to actually spawn this or get this trigger working. So in this case, we have 80% of chances to execute this. That means that if the number that we create here, that's an example, it gets 5 is less or equal to 80, it's going to work. But as an example, if the number that we get here is 91, it's not going to work because it accepts this number. Okay, now that's the conditions, and the actions are going to be the easiest one. So you are going to hit add. Only here to spawn projectiles, you are going to have here on item the projectiles. Okay, so as you see, you have like a different spawns here. Okay, so we have create a projectiles which belong to a creature, make a creature launch a projectile, and make players launch a projectile. Okay, the one that we get here is the one that says create a projectile. Okay, and what we are going to do with this one is that we are going to create a projectile on the area that we just created. Remember that at the beginning I create two different areas, one on the top and one on the floor. We're going to create a random area on the top and make it like point in any part on the floor. Okay, so let's do this. Just hit on create. Okay, let me see which one is the one that is going to work best in this case. Okay, let me find out what will be the, okay, clear projectile. Okay, so on here on the top there is going to be one that says create projectile. Okay, why we are going to use this one? Because this one doesn't have like doesn't attach that projectile to any creature. And on create projectile, you are going to select the projectile that we just create. So as this is just, we change the model for a one projectile, remember to select the meteor that you just created. Then you are going to select an event position. So just select on function library, you are going to select random location in area. And the area, it's going to be the area that you select in the sky, guys. And launch towards, again, select function, random location in the area, and the area that we are going to choose is the floor number 2 or the floor area, okay? So what is going to do your Meteor here is to launch the projectile from here, from any point in this area, in this blue circle, to any point in the one that is under the floor. So that means that, as an example, the Meteor is going to be created here, and it's going to be pointing to that direction. And next one is going to be created in any other area, okay? All right, so guys, this part I think is easier to understand. So now let me show you how it's going to work. Of course, I'm going to delete this one because it's the same that I just created. And let me show you how it's going to work, okay? So on here, I'm going to set up the disaster as a number 1. Don't worry for this, you are going to understand it later, but I just want to show you in real screen how it works. Okay, so guys, let me show you here. Oh, okay, I forgot something here. And I have another thing that, okay, no, it's going to work fine. So guys, check this. Okay, let me show you it up. When the time to bite is completely finished, we are going to see the Meteor shower here. And I wanted to show you if I'm not died first, because remember in this game you always can die at the beginning. On the top you're going to see the area, okay? Of course you cannot see it, but remember that the Meteor is going to spawn on that area. Oh, okay. So as you see, when the timer ends, I was just teleported to any part, okay? But on here, you are going to see the different meteors spawning from the top and trying to get into the bottom, okay? Okay, something is happening here. Oh, okay, I forgot to deactivate it. What happened is that I got 2 of the same right now, so that's not going to work that fine because we have the same system twice, okay? Okay, but let me change a couple of things here also. So the map is going to start a little bit faster, okay? I don't want to make you lose that amount of time. So game ini, game store. We are going to place it with 1 second. Let's start. Now we will be able to see it very quicker, okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. All right, very strange. Something is happening here. Okay. Let me check what I did wrong. Like a minigun? Okay, yeah. Actually, that happens to me a lot of times, guys. And something that you will realize is that when you're creating a game, probably you are going to get a lot of mistakes a lot of times. And yeah, that used to happen to me a lot. I remember some time I mess up and I actually blow up a tree game. So I was, oh my god, what I have to do again. I remember it was actually like a battle royale, but every time that you were moving or the areas or yeah, the time has happening, like an entire part of the game was like deleted, okay? So remember your map is divided by in squares, and every 5 seconds the borders are going to start falling. So one of the borders get falling and get falling and get falling. So I didn't create the triggers well, and I forgot to place a reset after finish them up. So when I was testing that, something very similar what you mean, what's happening, and it's something that I put wrong destroys all the map. Okay. And first, my game starts like become very freeze. It gets like completely freeze for a long time, and when I finish, almost all the map was gone. I was just getting some blocks in around some parts, and then I say, "Oh, okay, I did something wrong. I'm going to restart the map." And guess what? When I entered the map again, the map was still the same, completely empty, just with some blocks around that area. And I say, "Oh my god, I completely mess up." And I was actually trying to fix the game, but I never get to it. So I decided to delete that map because I was having to start from zero. But that was a cool experience, and my game completely crashed like the one that you were mentioned before. Okay, so guys, yeah. So just to let you know, yeah, what happens is that it seems that I mess up here with something. It's that we are not assigning the disaster because I deactivate everything, but now it's supposed to work in. Let's see. Okay, so it's supposed to just only spawn the disaster number 1. And yeah, this it is. So as you see, the meteors are spawning from the top to a random area. And as you see, all the effects are already created by default by the game itself. So don't worry for that. And with that, you will be able to get the first disaster. Okay, guys? Now, very important. This is not playable yet. It's just the first part of the system. If you want to play or if you want to test your disaster, oh, I get completely killed right now. But if you want to actually test this, the only thing that you need to do is to create a new trigger. Okay, remember, this is just for testing. Tomorrow we are going to complete that specific part. But if you want to test this, the only thing that you need to do is to create a new trigger. In game logic, when you are going to place when game is created, in actions you are going to apply timer. Okay, run countdown timer, and you are going to run the start time. Okay, and you are going to place it like 1 second. Okay, and another thing that you need to change is assign the value of the setup. You are going to change this for disaster as number 1, that is going to be your meteor, and then execute the trigger. Okay, guys? So remember, for doing this, you need to execute the trigger. But remember, just for testing, tomorrow we are going to delete that and we are going to do the actual system. That is just for you to be able to test your meteor and test how it works. So remember to execute the trigger that is going to be named as a meteor start. And with that, your meteor is going to spawn. Okay, guys? Remember, just for testing. Tomorrow we are going to do the actual system, and that's now for it. For now, the class has been already finished, guys. And just to let you know, if you want to play with me, I'm going to stay with you a couple of at least half hour more. So remember, you will be able to play with me and we will be able to play together. I want to test a new game with you guys, but I'm not sure if I will be able to do it. So